Hi students, welcome back to Social Studies class, and we are continuing our economic chapter, sectors of Indian economy. In the previous class, we have discussed about the various sectors of Indian economy, that is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. That is primary sector is also known as agriculture sector, secondary sector is also known as industrial sector, and tertiary sector is also known as service sector. And we have discussed that without each other these three sections cannot function properly. They have to interdepend on each other. We discussed the interrelation of each sectors. Now today we will discuss about how to count goods and services and the total production in each sector. Some lakhs and thousands of goods and things are produced every day in various sectors. But how to count them? How they are counted? How their values are estimated? Okay, how do we come to know the value of this product is this much? How the things has done? We will discuss today in that. Okay, right. So you have seen every day so many things are produced in various sectors, in agricultural sector, in you can say in industrial sector, in service sector. But how do we come to know about those things, number, value and all? Okay, one example. Let me explain you with various examples. Okay, then you will be understanding. For example, you take a farmer is there. He is selling his wheat. Okay, rupees 8 per kg. Rupees 8 per kg. 1 kg 8 rupees is selling. Okay, and if he sells some suppose 100 kg, then he get 800 rupees. Okay, now another person that is a miller, that is who makes wheat flour from the wheat. Okay, he purchases from the farmer at 8 rupees per kg, and total 100 kgs will be 800. Okay, next here this is farmer. Next we see wheat flour miller. A miller, what he do? He sells 1 kg wheat flour at rupees 10. He sells 1 kg rupees per 10. Now he sells 8 rupees per kg. He sells 10 rupees per kg. 2 rupees of margin is gained by the miller. Now this wheat flour is purchased by whom at 10 rupees? By a biscuit factory. Okay, a factory, biscuit factory. He purchases and makes biscuits. Okay, he makes biscuits and sells from 1 kg wheat flour. He makes how many? 4 packets. 4 packets. Each packet he sells at rupees 15. Okay, at rupees 15. That means total he earns 60 rupees. The factory fellow from 1 kg wheat flour he makes 4 packets. Okay, he earned rupees 15. He sells 50 rupees per packet, total 60 rupees. Now this biscuit is finally consumed by us. So the final product which we consume was the biscuit. So the value of biscuit packets or the biscuits will be taken into consideration. For example, once again I am telling, the farmer sells 8 rupees per kg to a miller. Miller makes wheat flour from that wheat and he sells to a factory at rupees 10 per kg. that factory person, biscuit factory person, he makes biscuits. From that 1 kg biscuits by adding sugar, oil, so many other ingredients, and makes 4 biscuit packets. Each packet 15 rupees, so he earns 60 rupees. Okay, so the final amount is 60 rupees. The final value which will be added 60 rupees. We did not add again this 10 rupees, 8 rupees in that. Okay, because these two are known as intermediary goods. Intermediary goods are those goods which act like a raw material. To make biscuits we require so many raw material, wheat flour. To make wheat flour we require wheat. Like that only he might have added sugar, oil, like that. That's why the prices may increase. So now some of you may think that, sir, then there is a loss to farmer, no? 8 rupees he sold is loss to farmer. No, it is not loss. See, he has sold at 8 rupees. The miller has made wheat flour from that. He has used electricity or his maybe diesel engine or anything. So cost of that also will be added. Transportation cost, everything including, he has saved 2 rupees extra on that. 10 rupees per kg he has sold. Now this biscuit factory person, he has to add so many ingredients to make biscuit. For example, sugar, you can take oil, you can take various flavor, okay, wrapper, he has to pay for the workers, employees, so many things. Overall charges he has included in that and decided that one packet he will sell 15 rupees. So 4 packets he has made and that was 60 rupees from that 1 kg of wheat flour. So this is the final value. So avoid the over counting, double counting, more than once extra counting. We take the value of the final goods and services. For example, one more example I will give you. Suppose you take a car. Okay. Now in car so many things have been added. Now a company which manufactures the car doesn't manufacture all the parts of the car. You take the tire, maybe manufactured by CL, MRF, TVS, various things. So it has to assemble from those industries. Okay, the window frame, the body of the car, when it is designed by that company, the engine is made by that. So the seat cover, the seat, the lights which it adds in that, so many things which it assembles. Okay, so they all are raw material of that car. Finally, when the car is ready, okay, all those amount which has been used by the car company to purchase those raw materials has been added on the final value or price of the car. So finally, when a consumer or a customer purchases the car, okay, that value of that car is taken as the final value of that particular good or product or service, whatever may be. Okay, so in this way we count. Okay, now you might have heard about GDP. Okay, gross domestic product. GDP. There is no gross domestic product. Domestic is local, within the country. Okay, now when the total value of all the 3 sectors, the total value of final goods and services of all the 3 sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary, put together is known as GDP. The total or the final value of all the 3 sectors, when we put together, is known as a GDP, gross domestic product. And the nations whose GDP is very high, they are developed nation. Medium, developing nation. Very less, they are underdeveloped nation. Our country, our economy is a still developing nation. Okay. So the GDP decides the growth rate of the country. Okay. If the GDP is very high, the growth rate of the country is very high. Reason is why? Because GDP means all domestic products. We have sometimes you may use some raw materials and all from the foreign country, imported one, that you have to minus it, remove it. Only the final amount of all those goods and services which is produced within the country should be added in GDP. Okay, now next let us see about the historical changes in the three sectors. Historical change. Historical change. History, which means very long time. Okay, like it only the historical changes in the sectors or the economy doesn't take place suddenly. It takes a long time. Example I'll give you. See, now today we are seeing most developed countries of the world. Okay, like if you take the European countries, you take England, France, okay, Germany, or you take a country like Russia, you take country like USA. These countries are now developed country. Okay, now, but once upon a time, long ago, either before their independence or the time of their independence, some of these have not even ruled by. For example, European countries were not ruled by anyone, but America was also ruled by Britain for a certain period of time. The 13 colonies of America were under the control of the Britishers, but it also got its independence. So before independence and after some years of independence, like that only Russia, it was not ruled by anyone. Then also its beginning, initial stages in these countries, the main source was primary sector only. These nations were agriculture sector nation. Agriculture was very main prevalent in these countries. So what happened? Slowly in these countries, industrial revolution started. You may be knowing the first industrial revolution took place in England. Then later it got spread to the other continents and countries. So from agriculture, slowly they started shifting or changing towards the industrial sector. Means they saw that when what happened, the agriculture sector started getting mechanized, modernized. So instead of when we are using manual thing, we require more labor. But when we started using machines, okay, instead of man or technology, then for example, you take one tractor or combiner, it does the work of some 10-50 people within 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so what is happening here? The extra people who were left out, they have to search for their livelihood, and they saw that the industrial revolution, the industries were set up, and they saw their opportunity in other sectors. So slowly they have got shifted from primary sector to secondary sector. Now in course of time, long, means not 10-15 years, maybe 4-5 decades, 50 years to 100 years. Okay, after this course of time, what happened? This industrial sector, again they saw certain more changes, like transportation is needed, communication is needed, banking and insurance is needed. Okay, so slowly what happened? The changes started coming. And what happened now? Because of development process, not only industrial, so many other things also started getting developed in our country, in our life, in our surroundings. Like if you take banking, now defense, police, lawyer, teaching, all these activities started. So these all comes under service. So slowly people started shifting their mindset from agriculture to industrial and industrial to service. Slowly they started diversifying themselves in various sectors. Okay, where there was a very high growth, where there was more income. So in this way, what we see the historical change. The nations which took these changes seriously and implemented plans according to the need and requirement of the nation, those nations made a very fast and rapid changes in all the three sectors, and they are now developed nations of the world. In our country, we were ruled by the Britishers. Our country was colonized. After getting freedom, it took certain years for us to strengthen our agriculture sector. Okay, and to develop all the three sectors, the historical background, the present condition and environment, geographical location of a country is also very, very important. So it depends upon all those factors. So in our country we have so many factors which still facing hindrance or creating difficulties in the faster growth of all these three changes. We are moving, we are also bringing institutional changes, historical changes, all these, but it is not as fast as European countries or the American countries. We need to even compete with, when we need to compete with them, we need to bring certain historical change or great reforms in our economic system. So students, I hope you have understood why we don't count the value of intermediary goods or the value of raw materials. Only we take into consideration the value of final goods and services which we consume. Okay, so next, and what is GDP, gross domestic product, the value of all the final goods and services from all the three sectors put together, estimate the GDP of the nation, and the historical changes which we took place in all the three sectors. By this we end the class today. Tomorrow we will continue with the new topic of the same chapter. By the time, take care, see you.